All right, welcome back to Just Enough Garage. This week, 1951 M-38. It's a Korean War era Jeep. Let's learn about it. So this M-38 is a real M-38. If you're a military guy, you would know. Big gas tank. Come with me. It's got the hinges here for the M-38 grill that folds out. It has the right windshield. The wipers are below. Yes, 3As had that too, but this was... there's a couple other things. It has a tailgate. It's been modified heavily in the 90s. Somebody put a 327 badge on it. It never had a 327. In fact, the 283 that came out, it's in the Suburban, came in this Jeep when I purchased it. I put a small block Chevy 350 in it, RV cam, throttle body fuel injection some years ago. So this video here, we're going to take you back and forth a little bit in time. Last summer, we took it on a trip. We were going to make a video with it. It was kind of a boring video, but on the way down the mountain I had some problems with the transfer case. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Mary will put us back in time and we'll show you those clips. Just a few minutes ago, we were coming down the hill. I was running second gear. Something happened in my transfer case, and now if you try to put it in, I got it in neutral. If you try to put it in high range, it just binds up. Something's fell apart inside the transfer case, but it's working in neutral. I got about 6 miles. Yes, there's a lot of cars here. Yes, my truck's at the bottom. It's mostly downhill. Yes, I could drive up here with my pickup, but we're going to try to coast 6 miles down this hill. So if that doesn't work, then we'll have to walk down to get my truck to pull it out of here. Yeah, something went haywire inside, and when I try to put it in gear, it just bangs up. So I guess I'm motivated now to put that other transfer case on in that overdrive. these are 70 years old, you know. The more you use this crap, the more it's going to break. So as long as I don't have to stop on the road, I think I'll be all right. There's a big flat spot. I might have to push it a little bit, but it is all downhill. So wish us luck. Okay, so I've discovered the problem. We found a flat spot on the road where we can't go uphill. We're too old to push it. Big gear. It fell down inside. This is an oil pan. I'm gonna have to pull it all off. There's the nut. It fell down inside. I'm trying to salvage it right now. I called my buddy. He didn't answer, so we're in a no cell phone range. If I can find the nut and put it back on, at least we can get down the mountain. We're probably 4 miles from the truck, so I don't think I'll have to walk because there's a zillion cars, as you saw. So hopefully one will have a 2-inch ball and they can tow me out of here. Anyways, I'll let you know how it goes. I'm not going to film everything because I'm too frustrated. Okay, I failed, but I succeeded. I tried to pull this bottom cover off to get the nut back out of the bottom. I couldn't do it because the motor mount was in the way. I mean, the transmission mount was in the way. I tried to lift the transmission with a ratchet strap to the roll bar. It wasn't strong enough. I tried to take the transfer case off the transmission. I failed there because I didn't have the, I didn't have the right combination of wrenches to get one bolt out. Anyways, kind of failed. So what I did is I put the gear back on. I don't have the nut. I just put 2 bolts in the cover. And I'm going to drive a little ways, and because it's a little uphill section. Hopefully it'll stay in long enough to get to the uphill section. If it falls off again, it's still inside. Big deal. And then I can coast the rest of the way down the stupid mountain to where my truck is at. This is why when you take an old Jeep, you always have a chase vehicle. You always have your vehicle to ready to tow it or trailer it or whatever. Because when they quit on the hill, I've probably had 8 people drive by in fancy new cars and nobody said, "Hey buddy, you need help?" Now I don't rely on other people, but it would be nice once in a while to say, "Yeah, can you give me a ride 3 miles down to my truck?" No, and I didn't feel like walking, so I'm gonna try this. Yeah, I made a little oil here mess. I got it pretty well cleaned up, and I put the oil back in. Luckily I had this olive can and a water bottle, and we made her work. Anyways, that's it for now. As the adventure continues, I'll let you know. Okay, as you can see, I got a ride from some nice people from Oregon. Turns out the guy went to the same high school as me about 15 years later. He got a job, he moved to Oregon. Anyways, it was about a 3-mile ride down the mountain, get my truck, get my Jeep. I'll have to fix a transfer case. As you guys know, that was one of the things I wanted to do, was put the overdrive in, which meant pulling this transfer case. It's not the end of the world. A little bit of pride was suffered, but that's all. No problem. I couldn't get the nut out of the bottom of the oil pan, so obviously I'll show you when I do. Thanks. Okay, so now that you've seen the video, it was beautiful. We had a great trip. Anyways, long and short of it is I fixed the problem. So I thought I was going to take it on a trip after that, tow it behind my motorhome. In fact, I was going to tow it behind the motorhome in the Great Motorhome Race. If you haven't seen that video, go back and find it. It didn't work out last minute because of a massive oil leak. Climb on down here, John. Let's lay on our backs. Do you remember this before, Johnny? Laying under this thing?
Yeah, I just put my hand in something sharp.
Oh, so get the camera over here. Some reason or another, right here.
Ouch.
Right under here. See this right here? This feeler gauge fits through. Some reason or another,
It's not stuck on there.
There's a massive gap between the bottom half of the transfer case right here and the upper half doesn't have it. Get a thinner one. And that's what we're going to have to figure out, because I put it all together. Thought as a new gasket, I used some adhesive gasket sealer. So this so this is an adapter on the back of a Ford T18 adapt to a Dana 18 transfer case. It's a real thing. People really did it. And you see that feeler gauge, some reason or another, oil pours out of that hole.
Oh,
that
weird.
whole thing around there.
It's like gears are throwing oil around or something.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't set properly. I can't explain that. So I have to do a redo. Well, I didn't know that till the day we were ready to go, and took it down the driveway to hook it to the motorhome, and all the oil's puking out of it, so I couldn't flat tow it. I couldn't do anything. I'm hoping we can just loosen the bolts.
And just shove it on there.
And shove it on there, but I wanted to put some more sealant in there maybe, but there is a gasket. Anyways, let's bring it into the shop. Get it in there. I have to pull the drive lines probably. It's not too bad to work on. It's just, I'm getting old. It's too hard to work on. Get out of the way. Come up here close, John. So let me talk about this because I've gotten questions on some of my stuff, and sometimes I've done this stuff years ago and I don't remember everything. So this is a 74 350 Chevy motor. This is an eBay special water pump that's supposed to put 25% more water flow at idle. This is all the wires for the throttle body fuel injection. There's a computer I mounted under the dash. So what you want to do, and this is what I did. I had a 94 Suburban 350, and that's this intake manifold. Now the intake manifold bolts in the center between the new and the old Chevys, they go straight down, and the old heads are at an angle. They were all in the same plane. So what I did is I got a die grinder, you can see, and I wallered out the aluminum. It's aluminum intake manifold, and so I could get it to fit up. I did all that on an engine stand, and then I put it in as one unit. If you use 86, 87 to like 92, 93 computers with the throttle body fuel injection, apparently they work no problem. Mine was a 94. I had problems. I had problems with the security device. I had problems with no rear sensor for the axle. It was an automatic. It would run the engine, but it would never lean it out, and eventually it would load up and die. It had problems. I contacted a guy on eBay. They sell these computers. The way it worked with him is you paid him the money. It was like 250 bucks at the time, and it came with a wiring harness and the computer, and then after you paid for it, then he sent you an email and you told him how to custom do the computer. It was a really slick system. I would totally use that guy again. It was so easy. Anyways, that solved all my problems. It was just a plug and play, and for the money it was well ahead. I couldn't do it any other day. I love this fuel injection. The carburetor it was on here, it never really wanted to run very well. You know how carburetors are off-road. Throttle body fuel injection, not the best. It's not the, okay, great. There's a lot of stuff out there. But for essentially 250 bucks and a used parts, I was able to put my own together. Oh, I take that back. I had to spend another $100 on a specific fuel pump, which, let me show you how I did that. This is a reproduction. It's an Omnix. You know, they come this color. I painted it black. It is the M-38 fuel tank. I made the seat brackets. It's got the big nozzle on it. It originally these things had a deal that slid out. I don't have that. Anyways, to make a return line, I threaded into the top here, and I just put a fuel line up through like that to make a loop, and it just returns right there into the fuel system. Underneath, I don't even know if you guys are interested in this stuff, but I'm showing you. Underneath, there's my fuel pump, and then obviously it comes out the bottom of the tank. I have a pre-filter on it. There's the fuel pump there. There's the return there. Oh, Rolly's here.
He went that way.
Oh, hi, Rolly. How you doing? Oh, yeah. How have you been? He recently got bit by a dog down at the dog park, so he's been under the weather. But $200 later and some medication, he's back to himself. So it was an off-leash park, and I think it was a German Shepherd. It could have been the pit that got him. Anyways, he sometimes starts things he can't finish. Anyways, you'll see here on his neck is where they got him. Not that it matters, but that's dog life for you. Anyways, back to the Jeep. So let's pull it in. Okay, since we're still on it, 1992, 93, 94 Jeep Cherokee. That's the master cylinder. That's that. I have discs on the front. I did the old, this was a closed knuckle Dana 30 71 model probably when I got it. I did the disc brake conversion by using the 85, 86 Jeep 1.1/8 rotors, the GM half-ton calipers and backing plate, and then I had to end up using a wheel spacer because I had these non-directionals I put on the Jeep wheels. What are those, 16-inch wheels, John? Yeah, 16-inch wheels. It's okay. I have the Swampers. I'm hoping to get this thing going. We'll go on a real off-road adventure because it's a hoot. You know, I got I got a Harbor Freight winch on the front that I've had there, 12,000 pounds. I've used it maybe twice. On the back, sorry, it's kind of a mess right now. We're trying to film before it gets. And on the back, I put this Warren 8000. I've used that one, I think, twice.
Yeah.
I didn't have a controller, so I made a homemade controller out of an extension cord and a button. And it works fine. Anyways, let's bring this thing into the shop. And then we'll fix an oil leak. Okay, so to answer your questions, yeah, I put a set of timing gears in it. Small block Chevy, whiny ones. That was something from the 90s. It fit the build. I like the noise. It's obnoxious. It's noisy. I put a big RV cam in it for some low-end grunt. It wheels pretty good. Yes, it's a Ford T18. It would be the similar to what we have in this truck. And the reason people did that conversion was it was the 7-to-1 first gear ratio. That was already in there when I bought the Jeep. I paid $2,000 and I traded a Holly carburetor for that it's got to be 9 or 10 years ago. The trailer in the back I'll bring out someday and show you. I have a little match set. It's quite a hoot. It's quite fun. So let's start working on it. So put that on pause and let's get working. Okay, so we're working on the Jeep. John was working on this, trying to do 2 birds, 1 stone, daylight, blah blah. You can see, this is off the Audi. You can see right there when they went over the curb that scraped through the hole. This is the oil pan off the engine. So we got some JB weld we're going to try. I don't have the capabilities of welding aluminum. This might be hard because it has oil in it. But I think if we JB weld both sides, I mean, there's no pressure here. It's just oil. It's just, you know, it'll be warm, but it, you know, it's not gonna. JB Weld, anybody had success with it? I really personally think that it's not the best stuff they say, but I'm willing to try on this car because at this point I got nothing to lose. Well, except for an engine, I guess.
Yeah, but that might not be good anyway.
I'm gonna go ahead and get a wire brush on on my drill, I think. And the inside looks pretty clean.
Oh yeah, there wasn't much on the road dirt side.
But I'll clean this. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't let, this wasn't my kids, but don't let your kids drive your, well, I guess it was a kid's car. Yeah, go ahead and do what you want. Don't drive over curbs.
It was the kid's boyfriend.
The kid's boyfriend. So it was a girl who had a boyfriend, or was it a boy who had a boyfriend?
It was the girl who had the boyfriend.
And he drove the car over the curb.
Uh-huh, he was rallying around apparently.
Into the ditch.
Into something.
Yeah. Anyways. We'll just show you the finished product because nobody cares about Audis. In 24 hours, so. Oh, you're filming this?
Well, I started it.
That's fine. We're high strength. You gotta tell me when you're doing it. Anyways, 4 to 6 hours set time, cure time 15 to 24. So we'll just leave that off tonight, John, and then I need to get a little instructions. Clean area, grease, oil, yep, got it. Mix, squeeze equal parts. Apply with appropriate tool. They don't tell you. Anything is appropriate. Yeah, okay. I can read all that without my glasses, so.
Oh, your eyes are getting better.
You know, it's not very big, but yeah, they weren't terrible. It's just at clarity, you know.
It's just eyeballs.
It's just clarity. Hey, it even comes with a little mixing pad there. I think I need a popsicle stick, don't I? I don't have a temperature rating. It's not warm out here. Should we heat that up?
You want to heat up the oil?
Middle? Should we heat that up? I mean, it's probably 40 degrees out here, John.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It's not my car.
Quit following me while I look for something. Turn that thing on. The instructions said an appropriate tool. Come on, cut you. Do I have to get a chainsaw out for this?
And you already have them out.
How can this not just cut that? What? Why is everything I own garbage?
Perfect.
Fetch, boy, fetch.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh, this is a great opportunity for me to talk to you, the viewer, about something that I wanted to talk about. So you pay attention, viewer, while my hands are doing this. I wanted to talk about purchasing a project, negotiation especially. I'm gonna give you some pointers on what I think is the best, what has worked for me in the past. So if there's something you're interested in, whether it be in somebody's yard or on a lot or at a junkyard, or I'm going to say they're harder to purchase at a good price once they're already on Facebook or Bring a Trailer or any of those sites. It's like real estate. Once it's already there, the person's made up their mind. They're committed to a price because they thought other people were selling theirs because they were listed for that. Now, I want you guys to understand, I'm not trying to be cheap on this. I'm trying to teach some negotiating skills, because really what you're doing is communication with this individual you're trying to buy from. Never insult them. Now, we can do that accidentally, insult somebody, but we don't need to. We don't talk negatively about their product. We don't talk negatively about what we're doing. So if you see something you're interested in, and you have a budget, which everybody has a budget. If you have a budget, you go and look at the vehicle, you want to start a conversation with the person. You want to ask them what they know about it, how are they interested, what is their good experiences, whatever. And you need to do your own research on the vehicle and get a price for what is fair. Now, not to say they weren't fair, but before you talk money and you say to yourself, yeah, I want to get this. This is where the negotiation skill comes in. If you do it right, it works out and both people are happy. If you do it a little bit aggressive and turn into a big a-hole, well, guess what? That they'll respond to that negativity. So when it comes down to price, I found the best thing to do is whatever they're asking for is irrelevant, because it's probably within ballpark and you're just trying to save $400 or $500 or $1,000 or whatever. You want to use this phrase. This is the secret. I read this in a book and it works. You do not talk about money until you've explained your position. I like your vehicle. I think I can provide a good home for it. I know how to fix these things. We both know that there's problems. You know some problems. I've seen problems. There's problems. Don't name anything specific, because then you're into this whole dialogue. As a result of that, I know I'm going to have to put money into it as well. I am very comfortable at this price. Now, this is where the negotiation comes in. If he's saying 500 and you're saying 250, you've split it in half. Whatever. He'll say, well, gee, I really needed $400 for it. Okay, so you've just negotiated 100 down. So as soon as somebody names a price, the other person now can move the price. This is how negotiation works. Don't respond to that with, well, it's still too much, because then you just look, you're not. You're saying, okay, I understand you're at 400, and I think that I'm comfortable with the 2.5. And the reason is the stuff you had restated. And now this is an opportunity. If he doesn't want to budge and you don't want to budge, there's a couple things you can do. Let me do some more research. Let me think about it. Or you do the walk away. Well, I can't help you. I only have $250. I know it's a little bit less than what you wanted. However, I can get rid of it now. It's going to go to a good home. I appreciate you working with me on the price. Sometimes then the person will go, yeah, you know, it belonged to my uncle. It's been here 20 years. I don't really care. I never was vested in it. And if you can use it, that's a good deal. I guess that's what it's worth. That's eventually where you'll get. But what you want to do in the negotiation is remove all emotional attachment. If you are talking to somebody and you've walked up on them and you ask about the car and they say, well, it was my uncle's car and I loved him and we used to go fishing in this car and then he took us to Vegas and that was the first time anyways, he's emotional. You can't really do nothing with an emotional car owner. You just go, okay, well, thanks for the story. That was neat. If there's the delusionist, right? The person who thinks it's worth more than it really is. I saw him on the internet for 20 grand. You're like, yeah, well, you got to put 20 grand worth of parts in this to get 1,500, okay? Then you can't really do much with that person either. I have bought lots of cars, and we're talking about the Suburban. I got that out of a field just about a year ago now, and we just walked up and started talking to the guy and asking him. And you know, you find out the story, and you've got to be patient with people. You got to listen. If you're a guy that, you know, I see internet guys, YouTubers, I bought this sight unseen, I just paid the money and I ran over there. That is an option. And, you know, and someday if the internet's doing real well for you, maybe that's the way to go. Should I put more on there, John, or?
Well, you got the hole sealed, so...
Just stop touching it?
No, I keep touching it until you make a new
Anyways,
one.
I don't think I effectively said about negotiation. Remove emotion. What worked for me one time, I'll tell you a story. All right, story time. I bought this fifth wheel travel trailer from a guy 10, 15 miles from here. He wanted $2,900. I had $1,600 cash. That's what I had. I needed a trailer for a trip I wanted to do. I wasn't interested in making it a long-term investment. I wanted to use it for one specific trip. So I went to look at it, and I checked everything. There was some rot here. So it was okay. You know, it was going to work for what I needed, but not at $2,900. As he's telling me the story, he tells me that he bought a Toyota truck, and this came with it, and he liked the truck. So to him, it was extra money. And after I heard that, which is, you know, good for negotiation, I says, I'll tell you, I'll straight be honest with you. And I had a wad of money. I said, I got $1,600 and I'm hoping you can work with me. He goes, well, that's like half. I said, I know, and I would pay more if I had it, but I don't, and I'm trying to do this. So if you want to work with me, great. You made $1,600 for moving a trailer 10 miles from a truck you bought. And he says, well, you know, I'm moving at the end of the month and I can't take it with me. And let me go talk to my wife. Well, of course, whatever, I have my own opinion on that. But anyways, he went and talked to her, and she wanted $1,800, which makes sense. She wanted to come back, $200. I didn't have it. And I says, I'll tell you what, I don't have it, and that's just the honest truth. The time I get it, you're going to be moving. Things are the way they are. I says, however, I do know this. If you take the $1,600 in, you put it on the table and said, it's done. We got money. Let's move on with our lives, because they were waiting to go to the movie theater, herself and her daughter and him. And I said, that really works. He goes, you know what? I'm going to try that. He took the money, went in, and while they were at the theater, I moved the trailer. Everything worked out great. It was delighted. I didn't think I was going to get it at that price, but I tried it, and that's a negotiation you can try. Bring the actual money that you actually want to spend, because the time this person has dealt with 2 or 3 or 5 or 200 flakes, they want somebody who's going to sell it. And it's a deal when both people agree on the price. You got money, I want to sell it, nobody else showed up with cash, you're my guy. I have a policy, and you guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. Whoever has the most cash is the first person to produce it, is whoever I'm selling it to. Because I could say, well, I could say no to him, wait for another week or two, go through 35 more people, or I could just be done with it. And a lot of people think that way. All right, this guy wants it, I'm done with it. So negotiating. Anyways, it's something to consider. I probably didn't explain it fully, and if you have questions, comments, put them in the description. We're still working on the Jeep. Let's take a walk in there, John. Sorry, this video is a little different than some of our stuff. I'm hoping yet to show you. So what I ended up doing here underneath is I've got it propped up with this little stand. A transfer case. I've got most of the bolts loose. It's a real bugger to work on. I still can't get it to align properly, so I'm going to have to pull the cover, pull the main drive gear, get it completely wiggling around. Somehow it's in a bind and it's not setting in, and I'm not exactly sure why it did that. So I didn't film any of this because it's frankly been 2 hours between filmings, and it's a real frustration to get the wrenches in the right spot. But anyways, we'll get back to you with a finished product. Hopefully the negotiation tips worked out. Okay, so I know we haven't filmed a lot of this. There's the adventure part, there's my negotiating tactics. We've worked on an Audi. We're losing patience and steam, but we found the problem and we're going to share it with you. This is a bolt. This bolt threads right here into the back of the adapter plate that goes from Ford to the Jeep. It is threaded, okay? Now anybody who's got any sort of mechanical experience and is watching this, see right down here, this is the hole it goes in. That is threaded. Well, you can't have 2 threaded holes. So what it's doing, as we try to put it on, and as we're threading this, it's pushing itself back away because there's a little bit of difference in the threading. So what you have when you have one, we need it to draw in, and instead the threads are off just enough that it's pushing out. And it's pushing out enough that we've broke the gasket already, but I've smeared it with RTV. And so now to solve that problem, I am going to modify the modifier. And we got a drill, and I thought you guys want to see this. See me destroy a case that's hard to come up with. Is that enough meat on there, John? I can't see under here.
I can't see
Put it on
either.
pause. Let's take it outside. Oh, nice quality. Cast iron. Imagine that. All right.
Looks like there's no threads in there.
Yeah, left enough machining on the ear, we should be all right. If I blow on it, it'll help. Okay.
Yeah, all the rest are
So,
smooth.
yeah, buy 70-year-old equipment. I think we're going to probably put the camera back off, go back under there. Once I get it hung up and everything, we'll check it. But this would explain I know my audience is somewhere between 35 and 65 according to YouTube, and 99% of you guys are guys. I understand, that's great. I'm glad to show this, but I could not see that underneath there. I felt like the bolt was taking thread, but I also felt like it was in a bind. So what was happening is as that one threaded and it started the next one, they were off just a little bit, and that was spreading it out. And so luckily we've discovered it. The frustration level's been pretty high. The previous video where we were in the mountains taking it for a drive, everything, Mariana and myself tried to fix it one time last summer, and that's where we thought we had it, and we didn't until we actually drove it, and then the oil was coming out. So there's a date on there. I don't know what that is.
Well, you can see it kind of. So if anybody else knows what that is,
Yeah.
now they can tell us.
So these transfer cases were made all the way up till 1971, I believe, when they were offset rear axle. This is the best one because it has the biggest shaft. Earlier in the videos, any of you guys have been watching for a while, I had an overdrive unit. I tried to adapt to this. I had the wrong output gear to match that, and then I had something wrong with the wrong transfer case. I have a separate transfer case. Now would be the time to change it, but now this center bore is not the same on the old transfer case. So I guess what I have is an overdrive and a transfer case that match for an older Jeep that has a smaller input bore. They made 3 different styles of these, and I didn't have anything that matched. So the Jeep doesn't get an overdrive. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys in a minute when we're successful. Be a statue.
Well, I'm staring at a bird over there.
Okay, so we're gonna finish the video. Yeah, I got a little vertigo going on from laying under the Jeep so long. Once we figured out what was wrong with the transfer case, we drilled it out, we put it together. I haven't finished. I'm letting the RTV dry. Then I'm going to add the oil tomorrow. And so this is probably the end of the video, but I'm probably going to show a little piece at the end of it actually driving so you guys know. If you'd watched a video before, maybe Mary had put this in, maybe not. I wanted to talk about my tire real quick before I finish. This is a Jeep wheel. I went to this old-timey wrecking yard. The guy said he got rid of 900 cars. This had been underneath some of those cars and was just laying where the cars used to be. Jonathan and I dug it out. I need to pressure wash it, paint it to match, but it's an old-timey snow and ice tire on the Jeep wheel. These are hard to find, these Jeep wheels, and now I have another one that matches, so I actually have a legitimate spare. Let's throw it on, John, and see if it...
You got a whole set now.
Yeah. Let's see if it fits.
Well, it seems to fit.
Just like that. This is a canoe rack. Let's lift it off, John. We'll put this out of the way. So anyways, that was a free wheel. We asked the guy about it, and he says you can have it. We don't care, and it's pretty exciting to have another one for the spare. Got the oil in it. We're ready to go. Let's do a cold start on it. So this is, you'll hear the fuel pump come on for the fuel injection. It even has a check engine light. Fuel pumps up, clutch down. Whoa! I let the key snap back too far. My fault. He's my new friend. Smells like cows.
I don't know if any of the footage is ever any good until I'm editing it.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying you get some road views. You can see that.
Oh. That's what it says.
I got those pictures of those chickens.
Oh, yeah, chickens. Chickens.
And I got the heater going there. What do you want from me?
I did notice you clicked on your heater.
Yeah, I don't know if the valve's open under there though, because last time we drove it was summer.
Yeah. Your feet heat up real good though.
You know what this Jeep is, Mary?
Huh.
This Jeep is like riding a Harley Davidson. It makes a lot of noise, all show, no go, but you look cool doing it. Anyways, deals are out there. As I said earlier, don't be afraid to talk to people if you're interested in a deal. You have to take the time to get to know them, their circumstance. Sometimes it's a trade. Sometimes people aren't interested in money. Sometimes it's sentimental. Anyways, don't be afraid to go out and ask some questions. Tell them your situation, what you're trying to do. I will caution, don't tell them you want it for parts. That almost always makes up people upset. So just say, I want to do things with this. I want to, do my best. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. I gotta do this.